What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Chibu2786. Gavin Richard presents here on this channel. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. If you guys would like to subscribe to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, like this video, and also, I'm going to say it also at the end, but also donate to the channel via the Google Pay, gavin.jrich1@gmail.com, or Cash App, Gavin Richard Esquire. So I'm getting into this video. This happened over this past week, of course. You guys know that Ice Cube has something called the Contract with Black America, and he has marketed it as a, I shouldn't say marketed, but he claims, and I believe he's telling the truth, that it was a bipartisan issue. And bipartisan meaning that it's across party lines, whether it's Democrat or Republican, the issues that Black Americans face. Now, I've been on Judge Joe Brown's show. I've been talking with different people, and a lot of people say, well, he ain't qualified. D.L. Hughley saying, he ain't qualified. What makes him qualified? The guy that gave you 3 Fridays. Well, what makes you guys qualified? You're just in the entertainment category as Ice Cube. Isaac Hayes III, he was upset that Q met with Trump's people, and he didn't meet with Donald Trump. Now, I'm not going to get into D.L. Hughley or anybody else on my issues with that, but I am going to talk about this Fox Soul channel. You guys already know where I'm going to go with it because you've probably heard about it online. Different people have talked about it, but you're going to hear the difference between emotional and logic. And it's basically 4-on-1 with these. You know, they sound like a bunch of quackling ducks talking over Ice Cube. Because Ice Cube was explaining why he met with the Trump administration, the campaign. He reached out to Joe Biden's campaign. And here what you're going to see are nothing but excuses. More and more excuses that the Democratic Party and their shills use as to why they will not help Black Americans. Meanwhile, every other ethnic group, and even non-ethnic groups like LGBTQ, you have Jewish organizations, you have Asian Americans, you have Indian Americans, they've all been, and undocumented illegal immigrants, they have been promised something in some way, shape, or form by these two parties. They have been promised something. So I'm going to play the clip. Just a little bit of it. And if you're a man and you're listening, you're going to be annoyed by this. And even some of our sisters, I can't say it's just across being men, but it's women as well, because I've looked at the comments on Fox Soul. And let me just say this too. I find it even a conflict of interest when you got Fox News, which is basically a right-wing organization, and you got Fox Soul. They're all under the Fox umbrella, but yet one speaks to one party and one speaks to another. Don't you think that's interesting? Rupert Murdoch owns the Fox network, right? So now Fox network has all of this umbrella of other streaming services. Fox Soul appeals to Black Americans, supposedly, although it's not Black owned. Just like BET. BET is Black Entertainment Television, but it's not Black owned. The only Black owned network that you can think of would be a TV One, but TV One, I think, they have some good, they've had good programming on there for a time with their Unsung and so forth, but I don't know how it's been ever since, really. They've had some of the worst movies on there. But Fox Soul, you can tell, while they try to appeal to the Black audience, they do not feel or appeal to new Black media, to the young Black generation that is out here, talking about people in my age group in our early 30s to late 20s, those that came from that era, because we're seeing the bullshit that has been pushed throughout the national media. They play a part of it. The days of being a Democratic shill are over. Now, I want to play you this clip because Claudia Jordan, you got Lisa Raye, you got Vivica Fox. I forgot the sister's name. I think it's Sylveea, right? If I'm not, I don't know her name offhand. That's not me trying to be funny, but they basically came for Ice Cube, and they were not friendly. Now, you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it here. This is a clip that I have right now. I'm going to play it. You guys take a look. Listen.
The Platinum Plan is not mine. Didn't name it. Didn't put it together. All I did was meet about the contract with Black America. They added some things, and I'm willing to meet with both sides.
Now
they
that's
can add
Ice
some
Cube.
things or not. It's fine.
And then, you know, they ran off immediately and did statements that you're basically a Republican now.
We're going to need a team of our people.
That's on them. That ain't on me.
Now you got 4 women talking while Cube is talking. You're telling Cube or accusing Cube of being a Republican by reporting what right-wing news outlets have said. Cube has said he's not rocking with anybody. And you're going to hear at the very end. Of course, I'm not going to play the whole clip because it's annoying. I don't know if I could sit through it. But I'm going to play the very end before this video is over so you could hear what the rest said. But we got about, I would say, roughly 10 minutes on this one. I'm going to stop.
I just want to make sure. We just want
We can't all talk at the same time. I got to ask a question, y'all. Please. With over 20,000 lies told to the American people by this president, I'm a former friend of Donald Trump. I work with them. I made money with him. Personally, it would have served me better to still stay on his side.
Okay, wait a minute. Now, don't you think that's interesting? She worked with Donald Trump, and now she's criticizing Trump, but then saying, well, it would have worked better for me if I had stayed on his side. Shit, if you know him, then you could actually talk to him. See, this whole thing about Trump being a racist, and this is not Gavin Richard campaigning for Donald Trump, but I am critical, because I am critical of some things he does, but I am also critical, even worse, of the Democrats because they have had the black community in their back pocket for over 50 years or better and have not produced any solid results. The wealth gap has divided this nation. If we're talking about black women issues, and you're going to hear about that too, because that's what they wanted to complain more with Cube about, because he's saying you don't mention black women. You know, there's nothing for black women in here. And the Democratic Party hasn't promised us all of this stuff and that. No other group is divisive as black people. And you're talking about some issues that doesn't even need to be divided on. Cube mentioned black people. And you're talking about, well, I used to work for Donald Trump's campaign. So here's my thing. If he's that much of a racist, why you guys worked with him? He's campaigning. He put up money for Jesse Jackson's campaign, 2 campaigns, according to Judge Joe Brown. He was actually had Michael Jackson and Jesse Jackson in his New York offices for the Rainbow Push Coalition. Michael actually lived there. He was hanging out with all of these black stars. He was dating a black woman. Now, again, that doesn't mean that Trump doesn't have anything against black people. Of course he can. And I have my issues with him, especially with the Central Park Five. But I also look at the flip side of this too. You guys were around him, hanging out with him. Remember when Apprentice came on? Whenever it came on, everybody was tuned in watching it when he was hosting. So now when the election doesn't go your way, you got a complaint. Oh, Trump is a racist. Trump, I didn't want to work with him. I used to work with him.
Why would you believe after he gets black votes, his whole goal from 3 years ago was to siphon 20% of black male votes to cross over to vote to support him? Yes. Why would we believe that he has, once he gets reelected, he will follow through with any of these plans, as opposed to Joe Biden and Kamala, who would be in their first term and be more indebted to do the right thing to get reelected for a second term? Right. Why should we believe
Obama didn't even do the right thing in his first term, and he had a Democratic Congress? See, you can't. These people don't even make any sense. These guys. Claudia is a model. Lisa Raye played a damn stripper. Ice Cube gave her break. Vivica, you messed with 50 Cent. Enough said. They have no political science background. And granted, neither does Cube. And you look at the contract with Black America, there was some flaws in it. Cube didn't mention reparations. You want to complain about, and this is another thing that you're going to hear, they're going to complain about black women's issues. But when every other ethnic group puts something together, when they promise something, like Kamala Harris has a plan for Indian Americans, those are her people, H-1B visas. She doesn't divide it by female and male, female. They don't divide it by gay or straight. When they do stuff for LGBTQ, that is indicative and specifically to LGBTQ, non-heterosexual group.
We believe that Donald Trump would actually follow through. That's a legit question that I have.
He ain't followed through.
I mean, I don't know. You're gonna have to figure that out because I'm not sure if he's gonna do it or not. I'm not sure what any of these guys are gonna do. All I know is we got to push our agenda, no matter who's in there. And I would, in a perfect world, the Biden campaign would have brought me in and we would have really talked about the plan, and they would have did, great things to their plans to specifically target black people. But they chose not to, and that's fine. I'm not a supporter of neither one of them.
No, I'm saying it's not too late.
That's what's the problem. I'm an independent person.
You'll have a conversation with the administration if Biden wins and Kamala wins. It's not too late. So I don't think it's fair to dismiss what they are. They're not in power yet. So they really can't say. They really can't say and promise things because they're not yet in power. We're not even in power in Congress.
You can't make campaign promises.
So why
they have.
Thank you.
That's what the.
Thank you. Yeah, you can make campaign promises. Cube is 100% correct on that. They have made campaign promises for LGBTQ. Biden has made a promise that if he's elected, he's going to grant amnesty to 11 million undocumented immigrants. So how can you say that he can't make any promises? That was Sylveea Johnson. I said Sylvia, so it's Sylveea Johnson. How can you say that, Sylveea? Y'all are berating Ice Cube. And, you're going to hear Lisa Raye talk in a minute because, they all talk. You can't tell who's who because they're all talking at the same time. They're just like a bunch of quackling ducks.
They make the promise when they're in office.
Well, they put out the
you see, Cube was trying to talk.
Plan. That is their promise to America and to the world. That is their promise. So the thing is, you can always promise the people who put you in power something more than what you just came up with. You gotta, especially when you know there's so much more that needs to be done, and he knows that it's so much that falls short in that plan when it comes to actually helping black people, minority, people of color, diversity. All those are trick words, and black people don't necessarily get a tenth of that. So we have to really be smart and really make sure that money is touching the hands of the people who have really struggled in this country for hundreds of years.
I have a question. You said that the Biden campaign didn't reach out to you, and you said they
did reach out. They didn't want to. They said we'll hook up after the election.
And to be fair, they're not the power in party right now. I want to ask you this if this is true because I had heard from one of my sources.
Wait, do y'all hear this? Well, to be fair, they're not the party in power right now. Claudia, they were in power before Donald Trump for 8 years. There were no tangibles then. What tangibles has Joe Biden promised the black community? You see, we can go in depth. You see, they're going to be talking about, well, Trump is a racist, but you noticed in the media, they have not talked about Joe Biden's history. Or if they have talked about it, they have buried it. They have not talked about Joe Biden's racist history, his ties to segregationists like Strom Thurmond. He wrote a crime bill before the 1994 crime bill, the 1984 crime bill. He was a part of that with Thurmond. He was against desegregation and forced busing. Remember Kamala Harris chewed Joe Biden out about that? Remember when she even talked about Joe Biden's sexual assault history and bragged about how she thought, well, not bragged, but she thought that Biden was guilty and believed those women. Now, all of a sudden, this is the hypocrisy in politics, because now all of a sudden when she's been promised the second highest position in the executive branch, she's jumped up and said, yes. Oh, Mr. Joe, I love you. Y'all should see my timeline. Y'all should really see my timeline of how I have friends who, saying, oh, Joe, he's a nice person. He's so great. He's a wonderful guy. This was a guy 40 years ago, 50 years ago, who fought against you from integrating in schools. He's responsible for most of your brothers, your sons, your husbands, your fathers being locked up in jail. Yeah, Trump has done some terrible things to black people, but his policies, in truthfulness, Trump really just talks shit. His policies and truthfulness have not impacted black people like Biden's policies had when he was a senator. And you guys don't talk about that. You're not ready for a real debate. You're not ready to sit down and talk with somebody who could school you. And Ice Cube was even schooling you. Just imagine if they had Dr. Claude Anderson on this program. Then they really would have no ratings, because if they talk to Dr. Anderson like they're talking to Ice Cube, nobody would be watching it. Why do you think Roland Martin's show is off the air after what he did with Umar Johnson? Let me finish playing this clip so y'all got to, I'm going to finish playing the whole thing so you guys don't miss anything. Only reason why I talk in between it, I'm trying to avoid a copyright strike or anything like that. But let me just say this is being shared for purposes of commentary, news, and education only under the Fair Use Act, Section 107 of the United States Fair Use Act. So I'm going to finish playing the rest of it. Section 107.
Call with Kamala Harris, with D.L. Hughley, Snoop Dogg, you, Killer Mike.
Are you serious?
They were all on the call, and you were not on the call. And that was that was in September. And why? So you said they didn't reach out. You said the Democrats didn't reach out, but Kamala Harris's folks reached out to you and wanted you to be on the Zoom call because they thought your voice was important. Why did you not participate? Choose to not participate in that?
Well, we had spent, a lot of people time putting a contract with Black America together. And, I just thought that getting on a Zoom call with 12 other entertainers, all shooting what they believe needs to be done, to me wasn't going to be productive. And I was also, because my lawyer, Matt Johnson, has a connection with Kamala Harris, and I was promised a call that I never received. So, that's why I didn't feel like I wanted to be on that Zoom call. So I feel like our plan is so broad that you can't talk about it with 12 other people who had nothing to do with it. And these are a lot of things that really need to get done. So I wanted to have a serious conversation and not just a rally cry kind of conversation.
But you said that you would talk to anyone that was willing to help. You said you were.
That's Sylveea Johnson.
I am, but I just said.
Now see this? They're talking over the man.
I just said that they said they were going to call me direct, and I never got that call. So when you hear that, you're waiting for that call. It never came.
So no kind of way don't work if it's not the way that you started. You want it. Got it.
Well, I want to get things done.
Now you see she's put, wait, hold on, I got to stop this one though.
Really,
but you see, he didn't say that. And yet Sylveea pushes that lie or implies something that wasn't there. Because she said, oh, so you just not going to work with somebody if it's not your way. Got it. That's not what the man said. He said he was waiting on another call that he didn't receive from Kamala Harris. He said that his lawyer knew Kamala Harris personally, and he was waiting on that call. You got to watch the games that they play.
So I didn't want to just. Well,
the vice presidential candidate.
When I had listen, because I had the conversation. When I had the Zoom call with the Democratic DNC, the Democratic Party. We was on the call for probably over 45 minutes, and we never even got to the contract with Black America. We never went through any of the points that needs to be dealt with when it comes to the situation in this country. No one else has a plan that deals with as many issues that this administration or any administration could fix if they had the political will. And you have to give them the political will. And that's what's being done. I didn't want to put anybody on blast for that, but since they said I didn't jump on the call, it's because I was promised a call where we can actually deal with this in a serious manner, and it wasn't just what I considered a rally call.
But I feel like that actually could have been okay, because you could have led the call and had supporters on listening to what it was that you're trying to get them to be able to help rally with the initiative for that.
I had been doing press about the contract with Black America outside of that. So I was using my press to promote the contract.
All right, I got to stop just right there. That's Lisa Raye. You know, there's a reason why Lisa Raye has started an OnlyFans. Y'all hearing the reason right now. Outside of Ice Cube's giving her a role in the Players Club, remember the Players Club? He directed that. She was Diamond. And outside all of us with Will Smith, I can't really name anything Lisa Raye has done. You know, she's had a few talk shows, and well, I know she had that show Single Ladies that didn't last long. Yeah, we remember that. She didn't have she had, you know, served as a first lady of Turks and Caicos, but of course that husband she married, if I'm not mistaken, he got arrested for fraud. So all of that stuff, yeah, he got arrested by Interpol. And you talking shit about the man that gave you a job. Now, I'm going to finish playing the whole clip.
You could have led the call and had supporters on listening to what it was that you're trying to get them to be able to help rally with the initiative for that.
I had been doing press about the contract with Black America outside of that. So I was using my press to promote the contract, not just to them dudes on the call, but to all of them.
Sorry about that.
All of Black America. That's where my thing is. So I wasn't on the call, but that don't mean we couldn't have a call. So that's what happened. And I don't feel like I made a mistake for not being on the call.
I will tell you, we have to wrap the show. We're way over, but I just want to say, Cube, I hear what you're saying, but I just want you to know, as Black women, how we would feel with there's no mention specifically of Black women in the contract with Black America. They do have to
stand on top of that. I just told you can write that up if you.
We're not out here jumping on calls.
We all Black, so we all.
We're not.
Together.
You're all Black.
We're not meeting up with Jared Kushner and Donald Trump about this. You are. So you can't say, well, if you don't like it, add to it. He
already said he didn't meet with Donald Trump.
You took that position to
I'll
beat this.
But here's the thing, Claudia, you're friends with the man. You were former friends with him. If you were that concerned or thought about the things or took the initiative like Ice Cube did, you could have talked with Donald Trump since you had connections.
I'll write up the Black woman's part of the contract for you.
And Black women, I'm going to talk about the Black women part too. Here's the thing. I got to interrupt this. Hold on. Here's the thing too. You know, I just saw Nicole's Views video. Shout out to her that she did, where she sat down with another sister and they talked about this very video we're discussing. Black with female issues. When we talk about Black people, that encompasses everybody. There were people that were complaining about Ice Cube starting that hashtag blame black men with referring to him because he didn't mention black women. No black woman was on that. It don't mention anything specifically to black women. It's about black people. Like I said before, agendas for other groups don't get split up by the sexes. Amnesty to undocumented illegals don't say, well, men first. When Biden says he's granting amnesty, he's granting it overall. Now, if there are issues that concern females, especially in the black community, they can be done, once the money is received, once things are given.
Now joining us now is a
We don't surprise party, so anyway.
Now, the initiatives have already been set.
Sorry about that. They got somebody up there.
We're way over. I wish we would have you for more time because I feel like you have a lot to say, Ice Cube, and you're very influential, and we appreciate this. And I hope we can respectfully debate and no feelings hurt. I don't think you are the type that would get hurt. I appreciate y'all. I wish we could have you back and have more of this conversation. Would you be open to come back here?
Of course, we family, and can't nobody hurt my family. Can't hurt my feelings.
Well, that's it. Because we're running out of time, Ice Cube, I would like to say right now, to be fair to you, and we really wanted to dig deep about the black woman part. I think that's very important. And the lift every voice part versus the contract with Black America. I feel like there's more on the table, and I don't want to be disrespectful to your perspective and to the perspective of black women. I would love to invite you back before the election. If you have time, I would love to do that for part 2 with Ice Cube.
Sorry about that.
We gotta break now.
No problem.
Brother, I know your intent is good. We just don't like who you rocking with, but we know your intent.
I ain't rocking with nobody.
We gonna see y'all. We gonna see.
Okay, and then Vivica says, we gonna see y'all. We gonna see. This is the type of stuff that we deal with. If you guys are watching Fox, I don't know who watches Fox Soul offhand because it's a streaming service. There may be some people who are, but if you are Black One First, I would not be watching Fox Soul because they got some chills up in there and they got ducks in there too, and the ducks are quacking. Quack, 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 quack. That's that whole interview with Cube. And you may not like Ice Cube personally. You may have issues with him. And, I know our brother Sean James, he's talked about stuff he didn't like with Ice Cube because of the images he portrayed, of the negative stereotype of the thug image of black Americans. But one thing I do respect about Ice Cube, though, is that the man is a mogul. The man has made boss moves. The man has worked his way around Hollywood, in the music industry, and he's given opportunities to other people like your Lisa Raye, to his children as well, because his son, O'Shea Jackson II, is an actor and also a musician. His other son is a musician as well, as a rapper as well. So because of him, they stand on his shoulders. And he has a platform. He has a platform bigger than this platform too, bigger than my platform. So you guys just need to pay attention to what's going on, please, with the media. Everybody who is on television, that is on, Fox Soul, on BET, on CNN, just because they look like you, they're not your friends. And these Democrats, too, I look at a lot of stuff that has happened. They have been part of the problem why our cities are the way they are. The lockdowns that have occurred, that wasn't because of Donald Trump. That's because of the Democrats. Here in New Orleans already, Mayor Cantrell, she's actually initiated a $500 fine, an ordinance that if you don't wear your mask in public, you're going to be fined $500. I was out canvassing for a friend yesterday. Everybody has to wear their mask outside, and it's hot out there. It's miserable. I get safety, and you want to keep people safe, but I'm not in for wearing a damn mask all day. You guys leave a comment, leave a like, let me know what you think about the video. I'll holla. Please go to the Cash App, subscribe to the channel, Jibu2786. If you'd like to donate, gavin.grich1@gmail.com or Cash App Gavin Richard Esquire. But yeah, Cube stood like a G on this one. The ladies were unfortunately, I thought they were, there to set up Ice Cube just by how they were talking. I thought it was really unprofessional, the fact they kept talking over him. And, honestly, if you're going to do a conversation like that, you got to have to do it one-on-one. Or probably just do a group chat where you don't have to talk over no one. But, yeah, man. But Cube stood up like a G, man. Shout out to him. All right, guys, that's it for me. There's been another edition of Gavin Richard Presents here on channel G-Boot 2786. I'll holla. Peace.